Hey guys, today's story is about a group of gatekeepers. This happened to me just last month, and it was quite the experience. So first of all, some background info. I'm a 19-year-old college student, and definitely a nerd. I'm really into anime and manga, although mostly manga, comic books, video games, and movies. But I also have other interests, such as fashion and combat sports, which translate into my appearance more than my nerdy interest. And I admit, I am an extremely vain person. I like to look good and dress with the trends. And I do Muay Thai, but not because I have a warrior spirit or to learn to protect myself or something as such, but because I do it to just stay in shape. I don't do other sports because I'm an absolute failure at other sports. And the reason I'm telling you all this, because it will be important to the story, so let me explain. The title says that I'm not a nerd, because the group judges me for not being nerd-worthy. I'll start with the group. I met with them a month ago from my best friend, Faye, and Faye is a super nerd. He's into all the things that I'm into, anime, manga, video games, etc. And we've been friends since we were 8 years old, so he knows a ton of stuff about me and my interests. He knew that I was also really into D&D, but had never gotten the chance to play it for real. And Faye, being the good friend that he is, had contacted me during the lockdown, with his friends that he played MTG with, to try to set up a session, and invited me to play with him as well. I was super excited. This was like a dream come true to me, where I can be my nerdy self, with equally fellow nerds, without being judged. I wanted to RP, I wanted to fantasize badass moments. I wanted to build friendships with my fellow adventurers and such, but little did I know, my fantasy would stay a fantasy. We planned to play and meet at one of Faye's friends' house, and that friend would be the DM, and we'll call him Gabe. Gabe was super friendly towards Faye, but not so much towards me. I thought, maybe he's just not comfortable with me yet, which I completely understood. And then the other two players showed up, who we'll call Ivan and Murray. And when we first met, Ivan and Murray straight up just acted like I wasn't there, and kept ignoring me. I was super upset because I was thinking about how we would have fun doing D&D if they kept acting like this, but I kept that with my thoughts of maybe they were just uncomfortable with me. Them being uncomfortable might have been a problem at first, but as time went on, I was sure that they were actually just hating on me. You see, after everybody arrived, we started to sit down at Gabe's living room, all except for Gabe himself. Faye was making small conversation with Ivan and Murray, and I tried to be friendly and converse with them as well, but they would just end the conversation, or just ignore me. I was getting kinda temperamental with the treatment I was receiving, so I called them out on it. I said something along the lines of, "Why are you guys acting like I'm Hitler?" And they started to look super uncomfortable after that, and stayed silent the entire time. I felt super guilty and just stayed quiet after that. And my friend Faye was understandably super awkward after that too. I thought that maybe they were just shy and were intimidated by socializing with new people. I know that most nerdy people are socially awkward, but I never thought that they would be this awkward. Then Gabe started to set up the table, and got the sense that the group was super awkward, and asked what was wrong. Ivan then replied with, "Why did you invite him over?" and pointed towards me. I said, "I came with Faye. I wanted to play D&D and he said I could join." He also said that Gabe was fine with it. I was super defensive because he made it seem like it was my fault for this tense situation. Then Murray said, "Why do you want to play D&D? You don't look like someone that likes to play this sort of stuff." And at this point, I realized that they were acting like this because I don't look like a nerd. I really thought that this kind of mentality didn't exist anymore, but reality proves otherwise. "How does my look have anything to do with me wanting to play D&D?" I asked. Faye backed me up and said, "You guys sound really dumb right now. Judging people based on appearance is 5th grader crap." Or something to that effect. Gabe looked super uncomfortable, and then Ivan said, "You really shouldn't play this kind of game. We don't like people like you here." I basically said fine, I can play with someone else, and left with Faye. But before I left though, Gabe even said to Faye that maybe he shouldn't invite people like me because it would make them uncomfortable. It was a super disappointing experience. I never thought that I would be judged based on my appearance and be outcast just because I don't look like a nerd. It was a super disappointing experience, but I'm still trying to find a nice group to get my first D&D experience. Well guys, what the heck were these guys expecting? Someone that was a caricature of Urkel? These guys aren't nerds. What they are man-children. Honestly, they did this guy a favor by kicking him out, because then he doesn't have to write a different type of horror story. And I kinda even hope that Faye kinda just avoids these guys for how they acted, because they're very obviously not the best of people. But that's not for me to say. But in any case, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, maybe think about subscribing and joining my Discord to chat and hang out. But, as always, have a good one, and happy holidays.